For decades, Hollywood has disappointed many a video game fan. Until now. That isn't to say that it's never been done till now. No, it's always been possible to make a good video game movie. It's just hardly ever been done. So, here are 4 video game movies that are pretty good. I'm Zack Bishop, and welcome to 4 Films. First up is the Mortal Kombat movie from 1995. From the slick fights and bringing the awesome characters to life, this has been a good film for many years to many fans. Yes, it has many flaws, but the original Mortal Kombat film is still a good time. A lot of fans feel like this was Mortal Kombat fully realized. And now here we are 26 years later, and there's 11 main series games and a brand new film that just came out. And I'd like to think that success of the first film is what made all that possible. Or at least helped it along to where it'd always be remembered by people that weren't even fans of the games. Now yes, some of this is speculation on my part, but there has been a big reevaluation of the film since its initial release, and a lot of people now are like, yeah, this was always awesome. And despite the film maybe having some contradictions to the original games, it's still considered one of the best video game movies of all time. And for good reason. It's very close to the story. And for a long time, this is what people thought of when they thought of the Mortal Kombat story. And yeah, back then, the only comparisons to other films that they had were Super Mario Bros. The movie and the Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme from 1994. So it's not really hard to say, yeah, that's no challenge to top those films. But instead, I'd like to think that Mortal Kombat said, no, I'm raising the bar. And since the Mortal Kombat movie was so successful, I can say to Jean-Claude, sorry, but that's a bit of a karmic fatality on you. And if you still haven't seen this film, please check out the original Mortal Kombat. It's worth every second. Next up is Street Fighter. No, Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. Originally shown online as episodes, these episodes were put together and released as a full film. It tells the origin of Ken and Ryu's training, as well as the origin of Akuma. A good story, good action, and cinematography. This film is definitely worth a watch for any Street Fighter fan. And if you're a person that's not really into the games and you want to redeem having watched Street Fighter 94 and Street Fighter The Legend of Chun-Li, then watch this film. You'll feel much better about it as a whole. In fact, this one did so well that Capcom contacted the 2 guys that wrote and directed the film to do a live-action version of the Street Fighter 2 tournament as their next film. So, it was supposed to get a sequel. And it's been a couple years now, so only time will tell. But hopefully we get it someday. And who knows? It might be perfect! Third up is Halo, Forward Unto Dawn. People for years have been wanting a Halo movie, and with this we got one. And it's really good. It was made as a tie-in to Halo 4, but it has an original story that takes place during the start of the war between Mankind and the Covenant, back during the Halo 1 era. This film has decent characters, cool locations, and best of all, a fully realized Master Chief. Yes, we might have seen some Halo commercials with him, in it briefly, but this is fully realized Master Chief, and man, he kicks ass in this movie. So if you're a big fan of Halo, I think you should check this one out. And if you're not a fan of Halo, you should still check it out. The story is gripping and compelling enough to where you enjoy yourself, and it doesn't feel too long. And I believe this was originally released as episodes as well. There you go, they put it together and made a good movie. Maybe if people took the time and effort to put into a video game movie as if it were episodes of a show, each section would have enough care to where you put it together as one film, it'd actually be good. Last up is Resident Evil. No! Resident Evil Degeneration. For the first time in years, Leon S. Kennedy that is, and Claire Redfield reunite since their fun adventure in Raccoon City. This time, there's a zombie outbreak at an airport, and wackiness ensues. That's just downright nutty. And admittedly, the second half is kind of slow and drags on a bit, but it's Resident Evil. It's based on the Resident Evil video games. It's canon to the video games. It's got Leon and Claire, and zombies. So of course this film was successful, and they made 2 other animated films. Now those people don't like as much, but technically they look better, they're a lot more cinematic, but the balance between action and horror is a little askew with each one, which Was also like the video games at the time. But this film has just the right amount of action and horror. You know, survival horror. Like a Resident Evil game. So yes, all three films have their flaws. But, you know, what doesn't? And because it's Resident Evil, it's good enough for me. It's a solid entry, and I recommend you watching it. So that's all for now. I'll see you next time on 4 Films. My radio.
Any survivors? There are zombies everywhere. Run, evacuate.
Yeah. I better take care of this.
Hey, why is all this cheese out here?